Hi guys, my name is Nicky Joe and today we are going to review Casio WSD-F10 smartwatches. In fact, this piece is so great that I had to get the second one for myself. Yes. I got the first piece for as cheap as 165 and the second one for 200. Before the purchase I thought I will hate them, but I fucking love them. I always preferred something small and compact. I totally admire metal bands. And I thought that with these Casio pieces I will hate myself, but in fact they are way better than that fossil piece of shit you can see right now. By the way, let me know in the comments if you want to get a review for these fossil pieces. So, as you may have already guessed, I totally love these watches. Let's see the packaging. Before you open it, you don't have any idea how awesome these watches will be. The huge pieces on the left and the simple promo material on the right. Getting the pieces out of their holder may be tricky, so let's proceed to the rest of the package. There is a box with charging cable and some manuals. Some warning papers, we don't need any of this crap. What they basically tell is don't be an idiot. There is a really outdated note on how to connect your watch to the phone. There is also a certificate for something, I'm not sure what, and a book with something else, I am not sure. Basically they should save the trees and stop distributing those. And in the box I mentioned earlier there is an USA wall plug I can totally not use and a charging cable for the watches. Now let's get the watches themselves out of the package and see how the new piece looks like. You can see 3 buttons on the right side, 2 of them can be configured. The polymer band seems to be strong, and let's take a closer look at them. When you peel out all the protective foams and remove screen protector, you can see the white screen. Normally you would expect black screen, but on these watches there are 2 layers of screen, and when they are unpowered, it is white. On the left side of the watch there is a magnetic charging port and a sensor for pressure and humidity. On the right side there are 3 buttons: tool button, menu button and up button. Tool and up buttons can be configured. Getting back to the charger cable, it is a magnetic one and its mechanism allows it to be pulled off easily. Unfortunately, over time it will be filled in dirt and you'll have to clean it in order to charge your watch. Luckily, you can do this with a toothbrush with a relative ease. The charging cable is short, so you will need an extender. The band that I mentioned before is really strong and is being held by 2 steel plates. You can also see a steel plate on the back of this watch, which tells you that this watch is water resistant for up to 5 bars. You can safely take a shower wearing these watches. These watches look really huge unless you put them on, but they will still look oversized on tiny arms. When you try to turn them on, it takes a bit of time. Then the screen goes black and you are suggested to charge the watches. Despite normally functioning pretty fast, these watches need up to 4 hours for initial setup. You'll have to pair them with your phone and update the system a few times, as they come with Android Wear 1. Now you can see the difference between 2 pieces. One of them is fresh and the second one was weared for 2 months. If you are careful with the watches, you don't hit them with walls or something, they are pretty good. So let's go through the initial setup process and then I'll tell you my impressions of those watches. Even though I like them a lot, there are some downsides in them. First of all, you need to charge the watches. While the watch is being charged, you can see an indicator of charging in the top left part of its face. This is something I didn't see on another smartwatches I owned. When the charging is finished, we are starting the setup process. You'll see the basic steps you need to perform in order to connect the watch. You should start the Wear app on your phone when you see the code on your watch. After that, you need to perform the connection process by adding a new watch. Unfortunately, Casio has problems with that. This, however, can also be my phone or Android Wear app acting weird. Because after actually pressing the connect button, nothing happens for a few hours. If everything is working fine, the watch normally indicates successful connection, but in this case, nothing happens. In fact, if you accidentally disconnect your watch from charger, you'll be prompted to set up it again. So to fix this, we are going to press and hold the power button and then wipe the watch settings. Unfortunately, this will take another few minutes, but after finishing the wipe, you can connect the watch again, and basically you'll have to repeat the process after each update of the watch. After successfully pairing your watch with your phone, you'll see the notification that you're all set on your phone, and you'll see that the watch is updating your applications. This can take another few hours. It will also download wear-compatible applications from your phone to your watch. After downloading all the applications and updating the watch for the first time, you can pretty much start using them. You'll be given basic tips on how to use it. However, I'd advise to skip those because you'll have to update your watch once again and you'll have to repeat the setup process. Android Wear 1.6 is very different from the Android Wear 2.0, which you'll have when you finish updating your watch for real. In order to perform the update of the watch, you need to connect them to your Wi-Fi. Luckily, the initial operation system was developed good enough to be able to pull saved networks from your mobile phone. So you basically can find the network from the list and then just connect to it. After connecting, the watch will start downloading the new OS. Just keep in mind that you will need to start charging the watch again. Yes, this may sound difficult and hard to perform, but actually this is just time consuming. And for some reason the update is being downloaded for longer than I'd expect it to be downloaded. It takes good another few hours of your life. While the update is being downloaded, you can check out the two-layer setup of these watches. It is a special watch face you cannot really customize, which gives you a really basic info on the watch usage, but which is perfectly visible on both sunlight and artificial light, and is basically a representation of watch's capability to display time while the screen is not lit. The very same watch face can additionally show you some information about watch's tool application, which we'll review later. So now, when the OS update is ready, we are waiting for it to boot up. Yet again, it takes the whole eternity to load. But when finally it booted up, you face another difficulty. Mainly its connection for your Google account, which cannot be properly done without resetting the watch. Even if the watch reacts to you pressing the button, you'll be unable to finish the setup process the same way you were unable to do it with connection before. So yeah, fucking die, you stupid piece of shit. Give me a fresh OS without garbage after updating. Next thing I'm going to show you is probably a bug in Android Wear application. When you're trying to connect your watch, unless you start rapidly tapping the screen in a certain spot, you will miss the dialog that will connect your watch to your phone. It is only visible for a moment, and if you don't press the button, the connection won't happen. I don't even have an idea who to blame, but this is something I had to do with both of my watches. After you successfully paired your phone with your watch, you'll be prompted to connect your Google account. This is pretty simple, and you just need to select the correct account and approve it. This will allow you to use Google Hangouts, Gmail and some other Google stuff with your watches. And finally, after pairing the phone with the watches, you can start setting up the watch itself. You can start by completing the tutorial of Android Wear. You'll see that the tutorial is different and it changed a lot since we last saw it. But most of the stuff is basic, and you'll need only to learn which side of the screen to pull from. And after finishing the tutorial, you can start installing applications to your watch and receiving notifications. On the bottom part of its body there is a microphone on this watch. You can use it to work with Google Assistant, which recognizes my English accent surprisingly well and allows me to work with the watch in English. It will reply to your basic questions, perform simple actions and give you directions. But even Google Assistant isn't perfect. The newer version of Android Wear allows you to scroll through your applications in a more convenient way. If you go back and see how it looked on previous Android Wear version, you'll see that this kind of scrolling is much better. And there is a timepiece application, the application that allows your watch to basically work after they were discharged. This application also allows you to select color scheme of your monochrome display. This display will be active while LCD display is not working. This display will be also visible in bright sunlight, which is a real deal breaker for me, even though it lacks a lot of functionality. I personally prefer a light background, as it's easier to distinguish. However, some people may like a darker background, just for the style. And here is a comparison of how the light background looks in the same lighting conditions. And since I mentioned that this watch face can be used while the watch is discharged, it is told that they can show time for 3 days after they lost main charge, so you'll always know what's the time, and may even miss the moment when the watch gets discharged. And speaking of customizing your watch face, there is plenty of pre-installed watch faces on this watch, as well as the option to download watch faces from Android Market and to create your own, with applications like Watchmaker. This is an option I went for, but it may be not the best solution for all. Luckily, the high variety of watch faces available on the market will allow you to select the best watch face for you. You can also customize the list of applications. You can easily add them to favorites by tapping and holding, and the order in which you added them to favorites matters. And the recent applications you used are always stored on top. So if you launch another application, it will be replaced to the top position as well. And sure as hell you can change this launcher to something else, since this is a full version of Android and you can customize it as you want. Also, Casio has included their application moment setter. It is supposed to be a sport application that allows you to track some activities. It also works with an inbuilt sensor of this watch. As someone who didn't really use it, I cannot tell you anything about it, but it also provides some watch faces and can be set up through your phone application. The main reason for me to speak about this application is that it allows you to select some applications you can launch with a tool button. You may find this data pretty handy. I personally frequently check sunrise and sunset times, and I guess when it gets warmer I'll use the cycling tracking tool in order to see what I can achieve. There are several options I may want to choose. And I guess we'll get back to monochrome display again, since it can work with tool application. So you basically can have your always on display, always show you compass, altitude, time of sunset and sunrise, atmospheric pressure and other stuff like this. You only need to press and hold the tool button while you are in the tool application. And there's something else this watch is good in. It is not giving a fuck about something that would generally damage other devices. Their screen is pretty rigid. And you can take showers in it, or even bath. You can even swim, and they won't give a fuck. They also don't give a fuck about comfort for your wrist, but this is something you can easily fix with a lighter, some pressure and patience. Just don't fry the band for too long, or you'll damage it instead of deforming it. So why would you want to use those watches? Well, first of all, easily receive notifications from your phone to your wrist. Steam and Google authentificators are included. You can reply to messages using real keyboard, speech input and drone symbols, which I disabled. With it you can even browse the web, reply to your emails. And I totally appreciate this display extension for your phone in public transport, when you don't have an option to get your phone out. Knowing who calls you without pulling out the phone and having an option to reply or cancel this call is something I totally cannot live without. It is a great display extension for your phone, like for real, a display on your hand. And the most important part for me is an option to control music on my phone. There are different applications for music player controls, and there's even a free application for my favorite power amp player, which allows me to switch music tracks and navigate the library. So without pulling out my phone, I can easily select which tracks to listen to or even create a playlist. The built-in player application is a bit simpler, yet it's still more than enough to control your music. But it is better integrated with Android system and allows you to see the volume bar if you change volume. However, this is the only advantage of this default app compared to custom application for my certain player. So the conclusion, if you can buy this thing for cheap from Amazon or somewhere else, go for it. It may not be the most comfortable to wear watch, but still it is something that I can live with now, because they are protected against water and I can wear them anytime and anywhere. The only thing they lack is heart rate sensor, which I rarely used. So yeah, my name was Nicky Joe. If you like this video, perform YouTube routine and have a nice day.